Hello friends, I am Gali Sarish on behalf of BSc IPF. We are going to talk about a concept known as diversification. So when I talk about diversification, the first thing is that which are the different assets that are available in front of us and how much we have to invest in each of these particular assets. So in this particular chart, if you can see right from 1990 to 2020, so almost we have a data of 30 years in front of us. So if we look into this 30 years, so the topmost percentage wise they have provided us the data. In 1990, let us make you people understand what exactly this data is showing us. In 1990, equity, Indian equities has given 34.4 percentage, debt has given you 9%, holding cash in any of the basically this is what they are talking about, various deposits 8%, gold 2.3%, US equities was giving us minus 5 percentage. In 1991 situation has changed, still equity India 82.1 percentage, US equity 79.8, gold. So here if we look at the topmost category, there you can see that n number of years how market has done well over a year on year basis. So if we closely look into this number, when I have checked this number, I have made this value in this. So 15 Indian equities have performed half of the time. The data is for 30 years. If I count it, 15 times Indian equities was on the topmost. US equities were has topped the chart for 6 years, debt 4 years, and gold 5 years. So in total 30 years data I have in front of me. So probability is very high when I am talking about Indian equities, and the probability changes with different assets. So here we have only looked upon the financial assets. The point which I wanted to emphasize by showing this chart is that there is no fixed financial asset which would always be at the top. That is one thing we have to understand. And if we are entirely invested in equity market, look at the gold performance right from 2006 to 2020. Gold 2006 21 percentage, 2007 is 16 percentage, 2008 30 percentage, 2009 18 percentage, 10 11 it did good, 12 it also means. Look at the numbers, even gold was giving us more than double digit returns. It didn't do well in the year 2013 14 15, then it came back to its performing levels. And in 2020 till June, this data is till June 2020, there gold had touched till 24.5. If we close this 2020 year, then definitely Indian equities will go up and gold will definitely come down. The point is that not a single asset has always been at the top. There is always a fluctuation in different asset classes. So why don't we invest in a manner where we can take advantage of the ups and downs in each of these assets? So this is what you would understand in the diversification process. The point is that, for example, let us understand with the help of gold itself. If you have invested in 2006 2007, let us understand, let us assume, so if you might have invested at a very high levels right from 2006 to 2011 and 2012 also almost at a good level. But when gold was very low at 2013 14 and 15, if you have continuously invested in gold at this particular 3 years, in this 3 years you might have accumulated good amount at a very cheap level. The same goes with other assets. Let us assume if you have invested in equities in 2006-7, it was a high peak, but if you have invested in 2008, you might have invested in equities, Indian equities, at a very low levels. So the point which I want to emphasize is that whenever you are investing in the form of SIP, or whether you are investing on a lump sum basis, why don't you segregate your entire investment value such that you are covering all these assets in your investment portfolio? That would add value. So how do we add value to our portfolio? Let us understand with a small example. So here, when we are looking at the diversification, I have considered these numbers. The numbers are showing me that shares, I have invested in shares, mutual funds, golds, bank deposits or debt. Normally they do give us similar kind of returns only, but here also real estates. So the point is that we are trying to diversify in these 5 assets. So what is my next step? So I am equally distributing my investment amount in 5 of these assets. If I have an investment value of 10 lakhs, let us assume, and if I am investing this 10 lakhs in equally in all of these assets, shares 2 lakhs, mutual funds 2 lakhs, gold 2 lakhs, debt or bank deposits 2 lakhs, and real estates 2 lakhs. So normally in real estates we will not be getting anything in 2 lakhs, but we have also been seeing that in mutual funds we have a category of mutual fund schemes which would be focusing on real estates investments. So you can plan for that. If your investment value is less, if your investment value is more, then definitely real estates can be really invested in actual properties. So what next then? What is the expected returns from each of these assets? So if we plan for expectations, shares normally 15% we should expect, mutual funds 12%, gold 8%, bank, FDs and debt at this point of time. If you want to invest, real estate is 9%. So actually what is my expected value in this portfolio? My expected portfolio returns would be somewhere around 9.9%. The point which I wanted to emphasize is that if we maintain a equal weightage for each of this, then my average returns would be 9.9%. Stable returns you might be having. If your risk appetite is very high, if your risk profile is very high, in that situation you might increase the percentage of shares, mutual funds or even real estates. If your risk appetite is less, then you can increase this percentage in gold and debt or bank FDs. But understand the rate of returns that you get from gold bank deposits is very less. So going forward, even will you like it or not, you have to increase your percentage in shares and mutual funds. The only point is that if you don't want to if you don't want to change this percentage, the only thing that can be done is you can, as I shown you in this particular example, you can straight away invest equally in all the assets and take the benefit of each assets whenever you have money. You can do the same procedure for your SIP. If you are planning for 10,000 SIP, plan 2,000 in shares, 2,000 in mutual fund schemes, 2,000 in gold, 2,000 in debt or bank deposits, and 2,000 in real estate schemes if it is a financial asset. So this is how you can consistently increase and you can take the benefits of this kind of variation in all of these assets. So that is more important when we are talking about diversification or portfolio. So by diversifying your portfolio, you are also looking at the average portfolio returns. So normally a well diversified portfolio would give you somewhere around 9.5%, 9.9%. And when we add this, if you talk about inflation number is around 6.5 percentage. So you have created a portfolio which would always give you more than the inflation number. So this is very good. So when we are planning to diversify our portfolio, always focus on the smooth conduct of the entire portfolio. We should not be entirely investing in shares, you should not be entirely investing in bank FDs or real estates. The focus should be, you should be taking advantage of all the benefits of each assets where you are investing. So hopefully you have understood the concept of diversification and how much percentage you should be focusing on each investment when you are diversifying your portfolio. So that is important for us. So hopefully we can touch another topic in our personal financial related topic. Thank you friends for watching this video.